Hey, how's it going? So, as promised, this is week 2 of showing you how to use Notion's newest, coolest update, Model Context Protocols, with Claude to actually take action in your Notion workspace. So, this week we're going to be covering a really cool use case, and you can think of this as like your AI assistant. You give your priorities, your task, what you need to do, and what you want to prioritize for the week to this AI assistant. And then they will look at your schedule, see what tasks you currently have scheduled, maybe what isn't scheduled, and it'll reorganize your schedule with one prompt, set up your schedule for an amazing week, and line up everything that you need to do to make it an awesome week. So let's go ahead and dive in. I want to show you how to do that. This is assuming that you use last week's Notion kit to set up this setup with Claude and Notion. I'll link to that below if you haven't, but let's go ahead and dive in. So I've got Claude fired up over here. I'm going to paste in a prompt that I created and I'll share it here within the newsletter. And this is a pretty simple prompt that just says, hey, look at my task database in Notion and see which tasks have a status of not started. As you can see, we've got probably 8 tasks right here that have a not started designation, and give them a start and end date for next week. Think of an appropriate time that it may take the average person to complete a task that you see listed out that hasn't been started. And then also cross-reference what I call a priority journal to fully understand what is most important to me in the next week and bake those insights into your scheduling of my tasks. And then at the end, return just kind of a weekly outlook summary that kind of sums up what you did and what I'm looking at for the upcoming week. So now real quick, that priority journal, it's down here below, and I just want to talk through it real quick. This is a super simple Notion page that just gives Claude some additional context into what's most important to me, stuff that it's not going to be able to glean from just looking at my task database. So you can see I've broken this up into 3 sections. First being focus areas. Hey, Claude, here's what is most important to me: health and wellness, career growth, side projects, and family time. That's what I'm focusing on. That's kind of my seasonal life right here. Working schedule. Here's my core hours that I typically work between 9 to 5, pretty standard. But what's cool is, hey, here's my best focus time for some of that deeper work. Try to find a way to bake it into these windows. And for me, it's 10 a.m. to noon, and then after lunch, it's 2 to 4 p.m. Those are really where everything kind of quiets down and I can focus on some deep work. And then some specific weekly goals. Hey, I got this quarterly finance report that I really want to knock out of the park. Make sure to give me ample time for that. And then kind of a personal weekly goal. I really got to find that Airbnb for a summer vacation that I'm working on planning with my family. So that's just a simple page here at the bottom of this template, which you'll have access to. So now that we've covered that, we've got our prompt in Claude. Let's see what it does. I'll go ahead and kick it off, and it's going to take a second to call our Notion workspace, to find the database, to read through the priority journal, and you can see right now it's thinking. It's looking at what you haven't started, so that what has that not started status designation, and it's going to work to bake it in with what I do have scheduled that isn't completed yet. So it's going to take a couple minutes, not a couple minutes, maybe 30 to 45 seconds here. And this is going to be a really cool view as we see things start to pop up on our calendar view of tasks that it's scheduling for me in this coming week. So you can see it's doing a lot of the heavy lifting, and it's even calling out some of the stuff from our priority journal, such as, hey, my best windows to work in are 10 a.m. to noon, 2 to 4 p.m. And you can see we've already had one task pop up. Here goes another. And you can see there's no conflict. So I have this one scheduled for 6:30 a.m. It threw this one in at 10 a.m. You can see it threw this one right at 2 p.m. Let's see what task that was. That was to schedule an annual medical checkup. Sounds good. That's a good time for that. Okay, now it's dipping into the weekend a little bit. If I would have defined in my priority journal that, hey, I just want to keep these new tasks between Monday and Friday, it would have respected that. But that was something that I left out in my priority journal. And there we go. And then it spits out a nice overview, kind of a summary of what it did. So, and kind of what our days are going to be looking like. So you see Monday through Sunday here, 6:37 a.m., start morning exercise, focusing on that health and wellness. 10 to 11:30 a.m. set up emergency fund savings account, so on and so forth. So, and we can jump back over here, and now you will see a fully built out task database with start and end times for all of these tasks. And I also could have added into the prompt saying, hey, flip these tasks that you've just rescheduled to in progress, or if you like to leave them as not started, that's perfect too. And you can even see it baked in a priority per task, which I'd like to think it was working off of the priority journal for those sort of things. So, hey, in 5 minutes, that's a really cool use case with Claude and Notion. And this has really opened up a world for us where AI can begin to perform work for us, such as setting up my schedule for the week. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back next week and the weeks after with some cool new use cases with this setup. And I'm looking forward to it. I'll see y'all then. Cheers.